Welcome aboard, sailors! Today we're going to continue to talk about how to effectively select quotes to match what you're doing and also how to correctly format the quotations that you pull from a text.
So let's remind you what this formatting looks like. Anytime you pull a quote from a text, it has to have quotation marks. It has to have a citation that's in parentheses, these little guys right here. And it has to have the exact words from the text. You cannot change anything.
So, for example, to bring it back to this quotation we talked about in the previous video, we have, "It was tragic, all right, but George and Hazel couldn't think about it very hard," from the third paragraph of the sentence. So, when we're talking about this quote, you can see it has exact words right here. What we do when we quote the text is no different than the exact words that already exist in the text. Additionally, there is that parenthetical citation at the end that says paragraph 3 because this came from paragraph 3 in the text.
Yesterday, I noticed that many of the students forgot, Mr. Tomas, that this period belongs here and not right here. They were copying it exactly as it was found here.
Yep, that is an important thing to note. Period and any kind of punctuation goes outside of the parenthetical citation.
All right, so we are going to give you some pieces from Harrison Bergeron. We are going to tell you exactly which part we want you to quote, and you're going to practice formatting that section correctly.
The goal here is to make sure that you can correctly format a quote from the text so that you're not making these mistakes when you do it in real writing. So, to start with,
here is paragraph 3, and we want you to quote this specific little segment right here. It was tuned to a government transmitter.
So make sure you take that sentence, write it in your notebook with quotation marks around it, a parenthetical citation at the end, and complete punctuation. Don't forget any of these components, quotation marks, a citation, and exact words from the text. So go ahead and pause the video now and get that sentence quoted in your notebook. Alright, sailor, now that you have that quotation down in your notebook, here is exactly what it should look like. If what you wrote in your notebook looks in any way different from what you see on the screen in the white box here, you did something wrong. So compare notes and make sure that you got this one right. And let's try it again on the next slide.
So our next paragraph that we're going to pull from is paragraph 36. And we want you to quote just the first sentence where it says the television program was suddenly interrupted for a news bulletin. Again, take this quote, put quotations around it, use parenthetical citations, and put your punctuation on the outside.
Pause the video now and get this correctly formatted in your notebook. Alright, sailor, now that you have this in your notebook, let's see how it should look. If what you wrote in your notebook looks, again, any different than what you see on that white box right there, you have made a mistake. Make sure that you compare notes, make sure this is exactly how it should be, and move on to the next practice quote.
And our next practice quote is on paragraph 53, and we're going to have you quote the entire thing, and I want you to notice that this quote has quotations on it already, and you're going to see that we do something a little bit different with that.
Yeah, Miss Meg, what's with all this dialogue? Do I put quotation marks around quotation marks? Do I change anything? What do I do?
Well, when we have quotations inside of our quotation, they get kind of a little extra piece, and it's going to look like this.
Notice how after the quotation mark, we changed the dialogue quotation marks that come from the text into just simple, what's the word I'm looking for? Apostrophes.
Like an apostrophe.
Yeah, it is an apostrophe on the keyboard. So, notice how this went down to just the single dot. It's the same key on your keyboard, just don't hit shift. This is the rare case where you will make a minor change to a quote when you are quoting it for real. This just indicates that you are pulling exact words from the text, but keeps the quotation marks in your paper for showing that these are exact words from the text. So notice how where there's this quotation mark right here before crippled, hobbled, sickened, that is dialogue in the text. That dialogue in your quote from the text is now down to that single apostrophe.
So everywhere that there used to be 2, there's 1, and then you're going to put 2 more on the outside.
And don't forget, your final parentheses has the final punctuation for your sentence outside of it. Also notice, if you have things like exclamation marks or question marks, you actually keep them in the sentence because that's a big part of quoting from the text. It shows a lot about what was happening in the text. So you keep those in the direct quotation, and you just put a period to end your quotation after the parenthetical.
So we're going to do some more practice, and this time we're not going to show you what it's going to look like. This one you have to do on your own.
Yep, we just want to see it done correctly in the notebook. So take this highlighted sentence. Hazel, as a matter of fact, bore a strong resemblance to the handicapper general, a woman named Diana Moon Glampers. Quote that properly in the text, and don't forget the parenthetical citation with the paragraph number.
All right, here's your next independent practice. On paragraph 43, the rest of Harrison's appearance was Halloween and hardware.
Take that sentence below, turn it into a perfect quote from the text. And once you've done this, you'll be ready to go to your next anchor assignment. So get to work, sailor.